Let's begin by allowing your shoulders to relax and your breath to soften. There is a stillness waiting for you here, a quiet space between thoughts where deeper knowing begins to speak. You arrived in this moment with purpose, not by chance, but because you are listening at a level you may not even realize. Something within you has stirred, turning your attention inward, and in doing so, you've tuned into a truth that is yours alone. Have you noticed the subtle change in your own atmosphere? Like the quiet in a room just before meaningful words are spoken, it's not emptiness, but presence gathering. This is what transformation feels like before it takes shape, a gentle tension that comes not from fear, but from readiness. It appears when the heart has outgrown old silence, when staying quiet becomes heavier than speaking up. That same courageous shift is alive in someone whose path is woven with yours. What they feel toward you hasn't been erased by time or reasoned away. Instead, it has taken root quietly, persistently, growing stronger in the dark until it could no longer stay hidden. They may have told themselves to wait, to be sensible, to let time decide. But time doesn't decide, it reveals. And what has been revealed is too true to ignore. This isn't about impulse or passing emotion. It's the kind of feeling that refines itself in waiting, becoming clearer and more certain, until the person holding it realizes, this is not just a chapter, it's a turning point. Here is where this becomes about more than a message from someone else. This moment is also about you. Your own energy, your openness, your capacity to feel shifts has called this truth forward. Their movement toward honesty is a mirror of your own readiness to live in deeper alignment. You are not just witnessing a change, you are part of the change itself. Both of you have grown toward this threshold, and now, the door is opening. You are moving through your days, one after the other, in the calm rhythm of your own world. Everything on the surface seems steady. You work, you plan, you scroll, you rest. It feels quiet, as if everything is simply still. But far from this quiet, a quiet of a different kind has ended. For someone connected to you, the season of waiting is over. They tried to be patient, believing that time would soften what they felt. But a funny thing happened, time did the opposite. With every day that passed, the quiet feeling grew louder. With every attempt to ignore it, it became more clear. They told themselves they could be fine, but their spirit refused to agree. Now, they stand at a quiet edge. They are not acting on a whim. This is not a sudden choice. It is the final, gentle collapse after holding a weight for too long. It is the result of 100 quiet nights where your memory was their only company, of 1,000 small moments where the world softly whispered your name back to them. Their logic has run out of arguments. Their patience has run its course. What they feel has moved beyond thought. It is now a quiet truth in their bones, a steady pulse they can no longer quiet. It is the kind of knowing that touches not just the heart, but the whole being, affecting sleep, breath, and peace. You may have felt ripples of this shift in your own calm waters, a sudden unexplained thought or a wave of feeling that seemed to come from nowhere. They are no longer willing to live in a world where you are only a memory. The fear of speaking is now smaller than the ache of silence. And so, they are preparing to turn a quiet, private truth into a courageous, shared one. This is the moment when a feeling, fully grown, finally finds its voice. You are moving through your days, one after the other, in the calm rhythm of your own world. Everything on the surface seems steady. You work, you plan, you scroll, you rest. It feels quiet, as if everything is simply still. But far from this quiet, a quiet of a different kind has ended. For someone connected to you, the season of waiting is over. They tried to be patient, believing that time would soften what they felt. But a funny thing happened, time did the opposite. With every day that passed, the quiet feeling grew louder. With every attempt to ignore it, it became more clear. They told themselves they could be fine, but their spirit refused to agree. Now, they stand at a quiet edge. They are not acting on a whim. This is not a sudden choice. It is the final, gentle collapse after holding a weight for too long. It is the result of 100 quiet nights where your memory was their only company, of 1,000 small moments where the world softly whispered your name back to them. Their logic has run out of arguments. Their patience has run its course. What they feel has moved beyond thought. It is now a quiet truth in their bones, a steady pulse they can no longer quiet. It is the kind of knowing that touches not just the heart, but the whole being, affecting sleep, breath, and peace. You may have felt ripples of this shift in your own calm waters, a sudden unexplained thought or a wave of feeling that seemed to come from nowhere. They are no longer willing to live in a world where you are only a memory. The fear of speaking is now smaller than the ache of silence. And so, they are preparing to turn a quiet, private truth into a courageous, shared one. This is the moment when a feeling, fully grown, finally finds its voice. There was a time when staying still felt like the safest choice. But safety has a cost. For them, the price has become a quiet, persistent ache, a whisper of what if that has grown into a shout. The unknown of your reaction no longer scares them as much as the known pain of this endless pause. They have learned a difficult, beautiful truth. Certainty is not found by standing still. It is built by stepping forward. By choosing to speak, even with a trembling voice. By showing up, even with an uncertain heart. This person is no longer watching life from the sidelines of their own feelings. They are stepping onto the field. What they feel is no longer just an internal thought. It has become a presence that lives in their every moment. You might sense it, too, a sudden shift in the air, an unexplained thought of them that feels more like a gentle tug than a random memory. This is the nature of a true soul tie. When one heart reaches its limit, the other feels the vibration. Their longing is not a passive wish for the past or future, it is an active, physical pull toward you in the now. They are done with containment. The action they are preparing is not a tentative probe. It is the culmination. It is every suppressed word forming into a sentence, every hidden look becoming a steady gaze, every silent step turning into a decisive movement. It will not be casual. It will feel necessary. It will carry the weight of all the time they've spent apart from you, together. This is their breaking point, yes. But more importantly, it is their breathing point, the moment they choose to finally exhale a truth they've held for too long. They are coming to you not with a question, but with an offering, the raw, unchanging truth of a connection that distance could not fade and time could not erase. They have chosen the risk of being seen over the torture of being invisible. And in that choice, they are not just seeking you, they are, at last, honoring the truth of their own soul. This time, their heart has moved first. Their mind is simply catching up to a truth that is already complete. There is a quiet fear in this kind of certainty because they have never stepped this far outside the lines of their own life before. But it is a fear that feels clean, like a storm that washes everything clear. What is coming is not a leap into the dark. It is a step into a light they have been walking toward for a very long time. They are done with the small, safe version of their life. When a heart reaches this kind of clarity, every old hesitation simply dissolves. All that's left is a deep, steady pull toward what is real. You are not imagining the change you sense. You are tuning into a frequency that is now broadcasting, loud and clear. You feel the quiet before the words, the stillness before the movement. Soon, That energy will take a shape you can see and hear. They will reach out. They will speak. They will finally let what's inside them meet the outside world, and you will be the one they meet it with. This isn't just about confession. It is about completion. A love like this isn't ordinary. It has been tested in silence, strengthened by distance, and polished by time. It learned to breathe in rooms where no one spoke its name. It practiced patience without any promise of reward. While life seemed still on the surface, this connection was putting down roots too deep to ever be easily removed. There was a final moment, a last whisper of fear that said, "Stop. It's not safe." And in that moment, their heart gave an answer that settled everything. A life spent wondering is far more dangerous than a moment of courage. The love they carry for you has outgrown every doubt, every overthought, every what if. It is now larger than their fear. It has become the most honest part of who they are. And soon, you will see it not as an idea, but as an action. Not as a memory, but as a choice, standing right in front of you, ready to begin. A truth has arrived for them, clear and unmistakable. They have realized that a feeling kept in the dark cannot truly live. It needs the light of day, the space of reality, the freedom of a choice actually made. Hiding what they felt didn't keep them safe, it only built a quiet loneliness. And if there was ever a thought that they had walked away from what exists between you, that thought was wrong. Their care never faded. It was only waiting for its moment. Now, that moment is here. What guides them is no longer hesitation, but a pull too profound to ignore. It is a call to step out from the shadows of what ifs and into the possibility of what could be. Every reason to stay silent has been weighed and found hollow. The act of carrying this truth alone has become a weight they will no longer bear. The fact that they are coming to you, even with everything unsure, is the deepest testament. It means you are more important to them than their own comfort. It means this connection is not a passing season, but a root that has grown deep beneath the surface, strong enough to break through solid ground. You will sense this change in the atmosphere around them. It is in a new kind of calm resolve, in a focus that has left distraction behind. It is in the way they will stand before you, fully present, allowing you to see what was once carefully guarded. The old voice of caution still speaks, but it is no longer in command. They have chosen to listen to a deeper, more honest sound, the understanding that a lifetime of wondering what if would be a far greater pain than any single moment of courage. They are choosing the possibility of you over the certainty of regret. You can feel a change in the air, can't you? A sort of quiet hum just beneath the surface of your everyday life. While your world has felt calm, a quiet revolution has been happening elsewhere. For someone connected to you, a fundamental choice has been made, to move toward what is real, no matter how uncertain the ground may be. Their comfort is no longer the priority. You are. They are willing to face any outcome, because the thought of never truly trying has become an ache greater than any fear of rejection. The potential of us outweighs the safety of what if. This isn't about a sudden burst of courage. It's about thoughtful, deliberate creation. Behind the scenes, a deep and careful preparation is unfolding. They are gathering their courage, not to perform, but to present their truth with the respect it deserves. They are choosing their words not to impress, but to convey a sincerity that has been years in the making. They want their presence to feel like a safe harbor, steady, clear, and completely genuine. They have practiced this moment in the quiet theater of their mind, not out of nervousness, but from a deep desire to get it right. They want their first words to be an open door, not a wall. They want their gaze to be an invitation, not a question. Every detail is being considered to ensure that when they finally stand before you, Nothing is left hidden in the shadows. This is their offering, polished not by perfection, but by pure, patient intention.